Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. If you're a woman watching this and lately something inside you feels like it's shifting, not breaking, shifting, then don't you dare scroll past this message. Because this is not a coincidence. You didn't just stumble across this, you were meant to hear it. You feel tired, but it's not the kind of tired sleep can fix. It's soul tired. It's, I've outgrown everything around me, tired. And let me be clear, that's not weakness. That's a sign, a divine sign that you're being set apart to be chosen. When a woman is about to be chosen, life doesn't throw a celebration, it throws a storm. And the first thing that happens, the thing that catches her off guard the most, is the sudden separation. People you thought would be in your life forever start to drift away. Conversations go dry. The energy shifts. You try to make sense of it, but the truth is, you're not supposed to understand it fully right now. Because this is not a season of connection, it's a season of preparation. And before elevation comes separation. It's a tough truth to swallow. You thought being chosen meant applause, admiration, open doors. But instead, it looks like silence. It looks like being in a room full of people and still feeling unseen. It looks like being misunderstood by the ones you've poured into. It looks like standing at a crossroads with no map in hand. And that's not because something's wrong with you. It's because something powerful is being formed in you. There's a version of you that's still wrapped in comfort, still clinging to the familiar. But that version doesn't fit where you're going. That version was built for survival. Now you're stepping into significance. And significance requires solitude. The world won't understand why you're suddenly distant, why you don't text back like you used to, why your energy has shifted. But deep down, you know, you feel it. You've been marked. You're not better than anyone else. You've just been set apart. You've been called higher. The separation is not to punish you. It's to protect what's growing inside you. Greatness doesn't grow in crowded rooms. It grows in quiet places. It grows in the dark when no one's watching. Just like seeds in the soil, just like diamonds under pressure. You don't become chosen by accident. You become chosen through process, through fire, through waiting, through walking alone, even when everything in you wants to go back to comfort. It's a strange thing, this feeling of being cut off. You start to question your worth. You wonder if you did something wrong. But let me be real with you. That distance you're feeling, that's confirmation. It's heaven saying, I need your full attention. It's the divine pulling you out of noise so you can hear clarity, so you can hear direction. Because when the next door opens, you won't have time to second guess. You'll need to walk through it boldly, and boldness is forged in solitude. You might be tempted to fight the separation, to chase people, to fix what's falling apart, but don't. Let what's leaving, leave. Let what's fading, fade. Stop resurrecting what was only meant to be temporary. The woman you're becoming doesn't need to beg for space in someone else's life. She doesn't need to explain her evolution. She doesn't need to apologize for outgrowing people who were never meant to grow with her. The separation will make you stronger. It will expose what you thought was solid, but was really just seasonal. It will clean your circle and clarify your path. And while it might hurt now, one day you'll look back and say, thank God they walked away. Thank God that chapter closed. Thank God I was left alone long enough to hear my own voice again. Because something happens in that quiet space. You stop performing. You stop pretending. You meet yourself, the real you. The one who doesn't need validation to feel valuable. The one who doesn't need attention to know she matters. And when you meet her, when you finally recognize the power and the potential that's been buried beneath all that noise, you'll realize the separation was the best thing that ever happened to you. You're not being left behind. You're being positioned. You're not being forgotten. You're being prepared. There's a calling on your life. And not everyone is equipped to walk with you into that calling. So stop grieving over doors that closed. Stop looking back at what didn't last. The weight you feel, that's the weight of becoming. That's the weight of transformation. And if you can carry it with grace, if you can endure the silence, the stillness, the solitude, then what's waiting on the other side will be more than you ever imagined. But you've got to trust the separation, because the woman who learns to walk alone becomes the woman who leads with power. The woman who stops chasing what's fading becomes the woman who attracts what's destined. And the woman who understands that isolation is not rejection, but redirection, that woman, she becomes unstoppable. You are not lost. You are not abandoned. You are being set apart for something that eyes haven't seen and ears haven't heard. Stay grounded. Stay obedient. Stay patient. Because the separation is not the end. It's the signal that something greater is about to begin. And when you finally step into it, you'll understand why it had to happen this way. You ever been in the middle of a storm and for some reason you're not panicking? Everything around you is shaking. Your plans, your relationships, your confidence. But inside, there's this strange calm. You should be overwhelmed. You should be falling apart. But instead, you're breathing deeper. You're thinking clearer. You're standing still while everything else is spinning. That's not normal. That's not by chance. That's a sign. That's what happens when a woman is about to be chosen. That's peace. Unshakable, divine peace. And it doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. It comes when your spirit knows something your eyes can't see yet. That kind of peace doesn't show up when things are easy. It shows up when you're being stretched, when you're being tested, when the pressure is closing in, and you're being called to rise without losing your mind. And that's when you realize you've changed. The old you would have broken by now. The old you would have begged for help, tried to fix everything, tried to make it make sense. But this new version, she's grounded. She's not cold. She's not numb. She's just certain. Certain that the storm isn't here to destroy her. It's here to reveal her. Most people are shaken by every wave. But a woman who's about to be chosen has learned how to plant her feet. She's learned how to surrender without losing herself. She's learned that peace isn't the absence of trouble, it's the presence of strength. And you don't find that kind of strength scrolling through social media or venting to people who can't understand your journey. You find it in the silence. You find it when you've cried your last tear and still chose to get up. You find it when everything goes wrong and yet something inside whispers, you're still going to make it. This peace is not weakness. It's not passive. It's power. It's a declaration. It says, I don't need all the answers. I don't need everyone to like me. I don't need things to look perfect. Because the woman who has found peace in her storm is a woman who can't be moved. She's not driven by fear anymore. She's not controlled by emotions that used to run wild. She's disciplined. She's focused. She's at rest even while the battle is raging. When you begin to carry that peace, you confuse people. They wonder why you're not reacting, why you're not lashing out, crying out, breaking down. But they don't understand that the storm is not new to you. You've been through worse. You've walked through fire before. You've had your heart broken, your dreams delayed, your name dragged, and still here you are. And this time, you're different. This time, you're not questioning your worth. You're not doubting your direction. You've seen too much. You've grown too much. Peace doesn't come from ignoring your pain. It comes from owning it, from sitting with it, from letting it teach you without letting it define you. That's what sets you apart. That's what makes you chosen, because you've learned how to feel deeply without drowning. You've learned how to protect your energy without building walls. You've learned that your peace is your power, and it's not up for negotiation. Don't let anybody tell you peace is boring. Peace is bold. It takes guts to stay calm when everything in you wants to react. It takes maturity to stay silent when you know you could clap back. It takes confidence to keep walking when the path isn't clear. That kind of peace, it's earned. It's forged in hardship. It's birthed in heartbreak. And when you carry it, you walk different. You talk different. You move different. You stop chasing things. You stop forcing things. You let what flows flow. And you let what falls away fall away. You realize that your peace is the evidence that you're aligned, that you're protected, that you're on the right track, even if it doesn't look like it yet. You don't need people to understand you're calm. It's not for them. It's for you. It's the signal that you're growing, that you're evolving, that you're stepping into a season that requires more stability and less reaction. It's not that the storm stopped. It's that you became the storm's match. And that kind of woman, calm, collected, connected to something bigger, she's the one who gets chosen. Because when life is looking for leaders, it doesn't pick the loudest voice in the room. It picks the one who's rooted, the one who's been through fire and didn't let it burn her soul, the one who stands in the chaos and brings order, not by force, but by presence. That's you now. You're not surviving anymore. You're leading. You're anchoring. You're rising. So when you feel that peace in your storm, don't ignore it. That's your sign. That's your proof. You're not breaking, you're being built. And the world better make room, because a peaceful woman in a violent storm, that's a chosen woman. There's a shift that happens in a woman's life right before she's chosen. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's subtle, quiet, like a whisper in the middle of chaos. And the shift starts within her spirit. Something begins to stir. Things that once excited her don't move her the same way anymore. Conversations she used to enjoy now feel draining. Environments that once felt like home now feel foreign. She hasn't changed the world outside her, but inside her, something is rising, a new standard, a new awareness, a new vision for who she is becoming. That's the sign most people miss. That internal shift, that's the call before the elevation. Before a woman is chosen, she starts to feel disconnected, not because she's broken, but because she's growing. Her soul becomes allergic to anything that no longer aligns with her purpose. She'll try to fit in, but it doesn't feel right. She'll try to settle, but it won't feel peaceful. Everything she once tolerated starts to feel like a burden. That's how you know she's being set apart, because her appetite begins to change. She stops craving the attention she used to seek. She's no longer moved by shallow praise or temporary validation. She's not here for popularity. She's here for purpose. And purpose demands clarity. It demands isolation. It demands honesty. So the woman who is being chosen starts stripping away the lies she used to tell herself. She confronts the patterns, the habits, the relationships that keep her small. She doesn't do this because she wants to be perfect. She does it because she's finally ready to be real. There's a weight that comes with being chosen. It requires discipline. It requires vision. And before that woman can carry that weight publicly, she must first master herself privately. That means she has to unlearn the survival mode that's kept her stuck. She has to forgive herself for ignoring her intuition. She has to release the guilt she's carried for wanting more. And most of all, she has to make peace with the fact that not everyone will understand her transformation. Because when a woman starts waking up to her potential, people get uncomfortable. Some will question her. Some will mock her. Some will try to guilt her back into who she used to be. But the woman who is being chosen doesn't move backwards to make others feel safe. She moves forward with grace, even if it means walking alone. She starts choosing her peace over people-pleasing. Her standards rise. Her time becomes sacred. Her energy becomes selective. She no longer entertains chaos just to feel needed. She no longer compromises her boundaries just to be accepted. She's not bitter. She's just focused. and focus is magnetic. When she aligns with her truth, everything meant for her starts moving in her direction. That internal shift becomes the foundation for everything that follows. It's not something you can fake. It's not something you can skip. It's the soul's way of preparing for something bigger. The world will see her glow up, but what they won't see is the breaking that happened before the breakthrough. They won't see the nights she questioned her worth, the days she wrestled with fear, the decisions she made in silence that changed the trajectory of her life. This is the part no one talks about. The becoming. The uncomfortable shedding of an old identity. It's not pretty. It's not Instagram-worthy. It's messy. It's lonely, but it's necessary, because when a woman is chosen, she can't carry dead weight into her destiny. She can't bring old mentalities into new territory. She can't step into power if she's still shackled to insecurity. So she lets go. She lets go of what no longer serves her. She lets go of the roles she played to make others comfortable. She lets go of the fear of outshining those around her, and as she does, she begins to rise, not with noise, but with quiet authority. She doesn't need to announce her transformation. Her presence speaks for itself. Her peace speaks for itself. Her decisions speak for themselves. You can tell a woman is about to be chosen when she no longer waits for permission to evolve. She gives herself permission. She steps into rooms with her head high, not because she's arrogant, but because she's finally aware of who she is. She doesn't shrink to be loved, she expands to be respected. And in doing so, she inspires other women to do the same. So if you feel the shift, don't fight it, lean into it. If things feel off, that's not confusion, that's confirmation. Your spirit is waking up to something greater. And yes, it might get lonely, it might get quiet, but that's just preparation. That's just the breaking before the building. That's the sign you're about to be chosen. The woman who feels that shift inside her isn't going crazy, she's being called. And if she stays faithful to that call, if she keeps walking even when the path isn't clear, then nothing can stop what's coming for her. Because a woman who honors her growth becomes a woman who walks in power. And once she walks in that power, there is no going back. There comes a moment in a woman's life when her eyes open, not physically but spiritually. Suddenly she sees people for who they are, not for who they pretend to be. She notices the energy they carry, the subtle lies hidden behind their compliments, the quiet envy behind their smiles. And it's not paranoia, it's discernment. It's clarity. It's a gift that doesn't come from pain, but from growth. When a woman is about to be chosen, her vision sharpens. She doesn't just look at what's in front of her, she sees what's behind it. The motives, the intentions, the truth. This is the phase where she can no longer ignore the red flags she once painted white. That same friend who always had something slick to say, she hears it now. That partner who claimed to love her but constantly chipped away at her confidence, she sees it now. The environments that used to feel familiar but now feel toxic, she feels it all now. And with that vision comes responsibility. Because once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you become aware, you cannot go back to being naive. The woman who is about to be chosen starts moving different because she has to. She's no longer emotionally available to everyone who shows up. She's no longer interested in being liked by people who don't even like themselves. She doesn't play small to protect other people's egos. She doesn't silence her intuition just to keep the peace. Her energy becomes expensive, and not everybody can afford it. What most people don't realize is that discernment isn't loud. It doesn't need to confront or expose anyone. It simply detaches, silently, completely, with no announcement. That's when you know she's stepping into her next level, because her peace becomes her priority, and anything that disrupts it, no matter how familiar, gets removed. For she's chosen, she goes through a season of seeing, and in that season, she stops being impressed by empty words. She watches actions. She watches consistency. She watches how people show up when they have nothing to gain, and based on what she sees, she adjusts accordingly. No anger, no drama, just wisdom. There's a wisdom in her walk now, a patience in her presence. She's not rushing anything. She's not chasing anyone. She understands that real connections don't need convincing, and real love doesn't require sacrifice of self. So she lets go of the distractions, the fake support, the conditional friendships, not because she's cold, but because she's clear. Clarity is a powerful thing. It makes you stop negotiating with people who never had your best interest at heart. It makes you stop begging for space in places you've outgrown. It makes you stop over-explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. That's when you know you're being elevated, when peace matters more than people's opinions. And don't get it twisted, this clarity doesn't make her bitter, it makes her better. It makes her intentional. It makes her focused. She doesn't need to cut people off with hate. She just rises with grace. And in rising, she creates space for new people, new energy, new opportunities that match the woman she's becoming. The woman who is about to be chosen doesn't seek revenge, she seeks growth. She understands that anyone who truly had access to her heart and fumbled it wasn't meant to go where she's headed. She's not here to convince anyone to see her worth. She sees it now. And that alone changes the game. So if you find yourself seeing things clearer than ever before, don't doubt it. Don't second guess it. That's not negativity. That's not overthinking. That's awareness. That's your spirit protecting your future. That's the preparation before the promise, because a woman can't be chosen if she's still entertaining what's choosing to drain her. This stage is sacred. It's where strength is built, not by force, but by clarity, by saying no when it's easier to say yes, by walking away even when it hurts, by protecting your space even when it means standing alone. That's how you know a woman is stepping into something powerful. She sees the truth and has the courage to act on it. And here's the thing, when she starts moving in this kind of truth, her life begins to shift. People fall off, but peace steps in. Distractions disappear, but destiny becomes clearer. She may lose a few relationships, but she gains herself. And once a woman gains herself, she becomes unstoppable. So don't ignore what you see. Don't doubt what your spirit is showing you. That insight is a sign. That wisdom is a weapon. Use it. Honor it. Move with it. Because a woman who sees clearly is a woman who leads powerfully. And that's how you know she's not just healing, she's being chosen. There's something powerful about a woman who finally stops running, not from others, but from herself, from her own reflection, from the silence, from the stillness. See, before a woman is chosen, she's called into solitude, not to punish her, but to prepare her, because you can't be chosen by the world until you've learned how to choose yourself. That season of isolation, that quiet, lonely space, it's not a curse, it's a cocoon. In that solitude, everything she once leaned on begins to fall away. The constant noise, the distractions, the people she thought she needed. One by one, they fade. And what she's left with is the truth, her truth. That's where the real work begins, because when the noise dies down, she can finally hear her own voice again. She can feel her intuition. She can breathe. The woman who is about to be chosen isn't afraid of being alone anymore. In fact, she starts to crave it. She understands that solitude isn't emptiness, it's sacred. It's where the foundation is laid. It's where her identity is rebuilt, not on the opinions of others, not on titles or relationships, but on something deeper, something unshakable, something eternal. When you're alone, you don't have to perform. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to edit yourself to fit someone else's expectations. You just are. And that raw version of you, the one stripped of approval, of validation, of applause, that's the version that gets refined. That's the version that gets strengthened. That's the version that's chosen. And here's the truth. Most people run from solitude because it confronts them with what they've been avoiding. But not her, not anymore. The woman who is about to be chosen looks her pain in the face and doesn't flinch. She looks at her past, not to be stuck in it, but to understand it, to break the cycle, to forgive, to heal. She knows that what she doesn't face will follow her, so she faces it now, head on, brave, honest, free. She starts asking herself the hard questions. Who am I when no one's watching? What do I believe about myself when no one is affirming me? What kind of love do I give myself when the world is silent? And in that stillness, she finds answers. Not from books, not from quotes, but from within. Her spirit speaks, and for the first time in a long time, she listens. It's in that quiet space that her power returns. Her focus sharpens, her standards rise, because once you've sat with yourself long enough, you stop settling for what doesn't sit right with your soul. She no longer chases comfort, she chooses purpose. She no longer attaches herself to people just to feel whole. She's already whole. And that wholeness, that self-assurance, that grounded energy, that's exactly what sets her apart. The world is drawn to a woman who doesn't need it to define her, who's not desperate for attention, but is deeply rooted in intention. And make no mistake, that energy is built in solitude. Not when everything is going right, but when everything feels uncertain. It's forged in those nights she wipes her own tears, encourages her own heart, and holds herself together when it feels like everything is falling apart. That's not weakness, that's strength in its purest form. You want to know if a woman is about to be chosen? Watch how she handles her quiet seasons. Watch how she transforms in the dark. She's not begging for shortcuts. She's not looking for someone to rescue her. She's doing the work, the kind of work no one sees, the kind that rewires her mind, rebuilds her faith, and restores her fire. And when she emerges, she's different. Not louder, but clearer. Not harder, but wiser. She walks different, she talks different, because she knows who she is now. She found it in the silence. She found it in the solitude. She found it in herself. So don't fear the quiet. Don't resist the season of being alone. That's not the end of your story. It's the birthing ground for your next chapter. The woman who surrenders to her solitude doesn't come back the same. She comes back chosen. She comes back ready. She comes back whole. And nothing in this world is more powerful than a woman who's done the inner work and risen from her own ashes. She doesn't need to announce her return. Her presence is the proof. Her peace is the signal. Her energy speaks louder than words ever could. That's the kind of woman who shifts rooms, who breaks generational patterns, who leads with love and walks with authority. That's the woman who is about to be chosen, and it all started when she chose herself first. A woman who is about to be chosen doesn't just carry herself differently. She walks into rooms with a quiet confidence and people can feel it, not because she's trying to be seen, but because she knows who she is now. And one of the most undeniable signs that she's stepping into her season of being chosen is this: the energy around her begins to shift. People treat her differently. Situations that used to shake her no longer touch her. It's not that the world suddenly changed, it's that she changed, and the world is simply responding to that change. When a woman starts stepping into her worth, everything around her has to adjust. People who used to play with her time now approach with caution. Those who once took her for granted now try to re-enter her life with a new level of respect, or at least hesitation. Why? Because they feel the shift. The version of her they once had access to no longer exists. She has grown beyond who she used to be, and the energy she gives off now demands alignment. This kind of shift doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to come with big announcements or dramatic exits. It happens in silence, in the way she no longer responds to disrespect, in the way she stops over-explaining herself, in the way she walks away from anything that doesn't honor her peace. That energy, it's powerful. It's not arrogance, it's self-awareness. It's not coldness, it's clarity. And that clarity makes her magnetic. There's a weight to her presence now. She's not easily moved, not easily persuaded, not easily shaken. That's what happens when a woman knows who she is. People sense it. Some are drawn to it, others are intimidated by it, but no one can ignore it. The old games don't work on her anymore. The sweet talk without action, it falls flat. The empty promises, she doesn't even blink, because she's not impressed by words. She watches energy. She watches consistency. She watches how people treat her when they have nothing to gain. And let me tell you, that kind of woman becomes a mirror. She forces people to confront their own intentions. When they come around her, they either rise to meet her standard or they fall back and disappear. That's how you know she's chosen. Not because of what she says, but because of what she no longer tolerates. Her boundaries speak for her now. Her growth sets the tone. And here's what's even more beautiful. She doesn't carry resentment. She's not bitter. She's not out for revenge. She just doesn't settle. That's the quiet power she carries. She's learned to let people go without needing closure. She's learned to trust her intuition even when it doesn't make sense to others. She's learned to prioritize her energy because she knows it's sacred. And when a woman learns to protect her peace like that, she becomes a force. She becomes rare. The shift in energy starts attracting new things too, better opportunities, real connections, conversations that nourish her soul, people who match her frequency. Not because she's chasing it, but because she's aligned with it. She's not asking for a seat at someone else's table. She's building her own. And when a woman builds her own table, she only allows people who bring peace, presence, and purpose to sit with her. She stops chasing and she starts attracting, not by pretending, not by performing, but by being. Just being, fully, authentically, powerfully. And it's in that state of authenticity that everything begins to change. The energy doesn't lie. When she enters a room, people feel something they can't explain. It's not her clothes, it's not her looks, it's her presence, her essence, her spirit. That's what draws the right people to her and repels the wrong ones. That's divine alignment in motion. The shift in energy also means she outgrows people she thought she'd have forever. That's not a loss, it's preparation. Because the version of her that is being chosen can't coexist with the same circles that once tolerated her mediocrity. She's no longer available for half love, for one-sided effort, for surface-level bonds. That shift is her soul evolving. And don't be surprised when people start saying she's changed, because she has. She had to. Growth demanded it. Healing required it. Her calling insisted on it. The woman she wasn't ready for what's coming. But the woman she is now, she's built for it. So if you're feeling the shift, don't fight it. Embrace it. If people start falling away, let them. If situations begin to feel off, trust that feeling. Your energy is not just shifting randomly, it's aligning you. It's preparing you, because when a woman is about to be chosen, the universe starts clearing the path. The old is removed to make room for the new. The unnecessary fades so that the essential can flourish. The woman who owns her energy owns her future, and that's how you know she's about to be chosen, not because she forces it, but because she attracts it. Because she's ready. because she's become the kind of woman that doesn't chase alignment, it finds her. And when it does, she walks in it like she was born for it, because she was. Let me tell you something. If you've been feeling different lately, more aware, more protective of your peace, more focused on who you're becoming rather than who you've been, then that's no accident. That's alignment. That's elevation. That's the signal that you are being prepared for something greater than you can even imagine. And if you're the woman who sees the signs, who feels the pull, who senses that something in your spirit is shifting, then understand this: you are not crazy and you are not alone. You are being chosen, not just by people, not just by opportunities, but by purpose, by destiny. The work you've been doing in silence, the healing, the growing, the letting go, that's not going unnoticed. The world is simply catching up to the version of you that's already been rising in the dark. So walk with your head high, carry your energy with intention, keep choosing yourself, even when it's hard, because when the time comes, and it will, the doors that once felt sealed shut will open effortlessly. Not because you begged, not because you proved yourself, but because you became the woman who was already worthy of walking through them. This is your becoming. This is your preparation. This is the season before the spotlight. And when it's your time, when you are chosen, not just seen, but truly chosen, it won't surprise you. Because deep down, you'll know